Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com.
It's Strutty. Zuby here, folks. It shows Shogger as muted for some reason, so you might have to say our greeting and salutation here.
Finally, I'm up in charge. Let's do this. How are we doing tonight, Edmonton? Oilers lose to the New Jersey Devils. 3-4 nights they lose to the New Jersey Devils. 3-0. We've got a jam-packed show for you tonight. Myself, Ryan Rashog, and of course, Rob Brown will be joining us a little bit later. The show is done from my home studio here in my office. Brought to you by Adrenaline Diesel. If you need a part manufactured, replicated, repaired, Adrenaline Diesel has you covered with their brand new machine shop. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. Leon Draisaitl couldn't do it 2 nights in a row. Obviously, we want to get thank our title sponsor, brought to you by Play Alberta. When you gamble, use your game sense. Play Alberta, make it easy to set deposit limits, time limits, and more, so you can play casino games and bet on sports safely, securely, and responsibly. Visit playalberta.ca.
Stumbling
Check
out of the gate.
1 2 1 2. Zuby,
got you
do
now.
you have me?
We have you now.
Okay,
Gotcha,
so listen, you know we're not about assigning blame on this show, right? We all share equal responsibility for our victories and for our losses. So we all share in this. But I have to say, Zuby, I think that was your fault.
Yeah, I think so too. But we've done this from the car on the app, a few times before. And what I did, without getting too technical, I didn't assign you to a spot on the screen, but
That's too technical.
you had a level. You were throwing a level in the program monitor. So this
is the new system. These are the hiccups with this new Zuby system that you have implemented for the show this year.
But it's been so good. But yeah, I'll completely take the L on this one. How did Struds do? Because I had to hang up and come back. Struddy, how do you think you did, having to jump in on the fly? You were at the end of the bench. Your skates were untied. You thought you had nothing doing, and you had to hop right into action.
Yeah, I'd say it was about on the same par as my Rodney Dangerfield impression. Somewhere in there.
I showed the guys on Edmonton Sports Talk. I was doing Dusty's show with Matt Iwanek and Will Fraser. I showed them. And Struds, they gave you some significant kudos, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I played it for them like 3 times and tried to convince them how bad it was. But they kind of had your back a little bit. They were like, no, there's something about it. It's not terrible.
Smart guys.
Do you know what? I actually think if you cut off the laugh, we're so focused on the laugh. I think you deliver the line is pretty close, and then it's the laugh that takes it into Strutty Town. It's no longer Rodney, but I think the line is good.
That's because Struds laughs at his own stuff louder than anybody else laughs at his stuff. He can't help that.
Funniest person I know. What do you expect? I mean, if you say funny things, I'll laugh at your stuff too, Zoobs, Shoggy.
And we'll wait for that to happen for the first time. By the way, we still haven't done that poll. We'll save it for a Sunday night when there's no game of who the funniest guy on the podcast might be. We'll do that on a different night. Can you tell we're kind of trying to avoid getting to the game? But I guess we have to, because that's what we're all paid to do here. So let's get to it. Let's get to the breakdown, brought to you by our great friend Strutty over at Alberta Ram Dealers.
Yes. Alberta Ram Dealers. Ram trucks continue to deliver with power, style, and innovation. The 2025 Ram 1500 features a bold new powertrain, a redesigned exterior, and state-of-the-art technology. Check out the most awarded light-duty truck ever. See a Ram dealer today. Nailed it.
Yeah, we're crushing it tonight, fellas. This is award-winning stuff we got going in the early going here in the show. Struds, I'm just going to kind of lob it up for you because there's a few different directions we could probably take it, but I don't know what you felt most passionate about, but you tell me, buddy, where's your headline on the Oilers' performance tonight?
Well, this is going to sound like an excuse, so I'll just roll it out there. And I know I'm going to get beat up by our good friends on the stream. Okay. I think it looked like a team that played 3 and 4 nights. They looked like they, and you know what? I'm gonna pick a specific moment, and you can tell me if you think this is it. Zach Hyman gets the puck. He starts skating towards in the offensive zone. Starts skating up towards Bouchard. And I'm not really sure what he was trying to do. And I'm not sure he knew what he was going to do. And oftentimes that's a sign of fatigue, mental fatigue. And you're kind of just, okay, I'm here, now what? And then too late, boom. If you didn't see it, Dawson Mercer makes a great kind of alley-oop pass up to, was it Timo Miner, I think gets it. And then he takes it and goes and goes backdoor. So, but that to me it just kind of shows the whole evening. Here we are. We're fatigued, and those are the mental mistakes they talk about.
Yeah, and I think Struds, on a night like tonight, and your point is fair. 3 and 4 with travel mixed in, like that's not easy to do, right? That's complicated. And the Oilers had some travel issues as well, coming back from that road trip. You know, they had some plane issues and got stuck and ended up having to fly back on what was supposed to be the day off. So not ideal. Now, I'm not building in excuses, but the point that I'm building towards here is when you are maybe a little bit run down, what you absolutely need is for like one of your best chances to trickle in at some point in the first 20 or 30 minutes of a game. You know what I mean? Like you need a little bit of a break, something to kind of go your way. They had chances they couldn't bury. It's like they kind of gave it whatever was left in the tank, weren't able to bury, and then it just kind of faded from there.
Yeah, so I think you're talking about Henrique off the backhander, hits the goalpost, or the crossbar, I should say, and then Paul Colson has one pass from Draisaitl, and he taps it short. He's in the crease, he literally taps it short, 6 inches to the left, that's a goal, and it'd be 1-1. And maybe that gets you going. So you're right. There things kind of have to break your way, and you have to. I don't want to use the word luck, but you just keep the game simpler, keep the game moving forward, kind of keep it, just keep it going in their direction. And the Oilers, for the most part, did that. Like I believe they outchanced the Devils, which over the course of the game you'd hope would be enough. Jake Allen, did he get lucky? Did he play well? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he played well. He had a good game, and the Oilers just couldn't quite get over top of what they needed. Then all of a sudden you're down 2, and it's like, hey, this is a long road back when maybe you don't have the steam you normally have. And Connor McDavid, who's probably usually good for 1 goal at least.
Yeah, for sure. Last game, I think the title of our pod was like special teams breaks through or comes through or something like that. I can't remember, but one of our narratives and storylines was, they haven't been great this season, but when they needed them in a third period, they got an important penalty or an important power play goal and an important penalty kill, like a crucial penalty kill, and some good performance there. Tonight, it kind of flipped the other way around tonight, Struds. Like the penalty kill was flat. The penalty kill wasn't great, and the Devils just absolutely picked him apart. And then the power play was flat as well. Let's maybe start with the power play because it's been a little bit of a topic, but certainly flat, Struds, in a configuration that I know you're not sure of.
When McDavid went down, we talked a lot about, well, even before McDavid went down, should they change the power play? What would it look like? Who would go on? And so when McDavid went down due to the injury, it was interesting to see that they went to 2 D-men. And I remember when I played, I thought, this is crazy. Who would ever play 4 forwards? And now you see 2 D-men on the power play. I'm like, this is crazy. Why are we playing? Like, this should never happen. So, it's nuts. And I've got a lot of time for the gentlemen on that power play. But to me, it looks very Bouchard and Ekholm are kind of both at the top saying, okay, what are we doing? Oh, we're going to change sides. Bouchard to move into the one-time side. There's very little movement. It looks quite stagnant. Now, we've only seen it for, what have they had, 2 or 3 power plays over the course of the time he's out. So it's not a ton, but it just looks really stagnant. And I always think about it, if I was a killer, would this be something I'd be scared of? And the answer is no, because I know that I'd rather have the puck up with Bouchard and Ekholm. I'd get nervous when they start zipping it, across the zone or passing Bouchard back one-timers. And there hasn't been a lot of that. So I'm not fearful as a penalty killer. If I'm not, I'm guessing the guys on the ice aren't losing sleep over it either. So I would suspect you'd maybe see a change in that, although, it sounds like Connor might be back sooner than later, but I would suggest they put another forward out there to try to get a little bit more movement all over the ice.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing I was a little uncertain of too, and I don't think we saw it tonight, but that day they practiced both units, there was one defenseman on the second unit. I think Darnell Nurse was the lone defenseman on the second unit. And I was a little befuddled at that, because I thought, well, when the guy steps out of the penalty box, it's going to be 5-on-5 and you only got one defenseman out there. It seems a little odd to have one defenseman on the second unit, but we didn't see that tonight. But yeah, bottom line, it's a heck of a lot different a power play when you don't have McDavid's foot speed on the entries. He makes it look so easy, Struds, but then you watch even other teams with really good players on it. I mean, Leon Draisaitl, entries, they're not easy. And McDavid makes them look easy, and it's something that is noticeable. And I thought one of the issues they had tonight was that Draisaitl's line, I believe, was the one that drew the power play. And then rather than start the second unit and let them get a breather, they threw that top power play unit out right away. And I thought Draisaitl was gassed, like probably halfway through their time out there. And so he didn't really have the speed on the entries, and I think he was pretty gassed there. So I can't help but wonder if throwing the second unit out for 35 seconds and giving those guys a quick break might have helped.
Well, I credit to Leon. He got his skate sharpened, and so he got a break. Yeah. Like, I would say there was 30, 40 seconds there, Shagar. Because if, for those who didn't see the game, he kind of got tripped and maybe looked like he maybe stepped on someone's stick. So it was his right foot, but all of a sudden both feet were getting carved up, right? And so, we all know what's going on, but what are you going to say to the guy? You're like, it might have happened. He might have lost an edge. So I don't think I understand where you're coming from, but it wasn't like a bang, bang, right? It wasn't power play penalty power play right away. There's some time there, but you're 100%. I'm not going to challenge you at all on those zone entries. It's just not the same. Because even, Leon is accustomed to kind of maybe getting the puck from Evan Bouchard, and then he gives it back to Connor. So now he's carrying up, but the most important thing, again, I go back to as a penalty killer, I'm not worried about 97's turnstiling me coming across the blue line. So I feel way more comfortable standing up. And Leon's fast. There's no doubt, but he's not Connor McDavid fast. You look around the league, how many players can carry it with that type of skill and that speed? I think there's 2. Well, 3 maybe. McKinnon, Makar, McDavid. Those are the 3 guys. And Kucherov's great, dollar bill, Krill, they're all great, but they can't with that speed and that ability. So again, as a penalty killer now, you feel a bit braver. I'm going to stay up here. I'm going to feel a little bit more bold rather than backing in, because it's not that it's only Leon, but it's not Connor. And I want to be very careful, because I don't want to be disrespectful to 29, but there is a different sense when you have 1 and not 2 both on the ice. Yeah,
I mean, he'd be the first to admit it's just, it's not the same on the loop back. Just you're not generating as much straight line, speed, and even the ability. Like, the thing that makes Connor so good at it is his lateral movement, right? He can be going full speed in one direction, in a blink of an eye, 3/4 speed in a different direction, and nobody else can do those things. Draisaitl's, definitely not wired that way as a skater. So the entries definitely struggled. Power play, without McDavid, it's obviously it's going to struggle. And it'll be a little bit, I think, for that one to get back on track. The penalty kill, a different story. Like, they need to be getting themselves sorted out here, Struds. Like, they definitely can't have it be a weakness. I don't expect it to be the spine that it was on their team last year, but it can't continue to be a weakness for them. And once again, it was tonight. Let's Let's do this, Struds. Grab the Weiss Johnson read there, and we will get to the Weiss Johnson sound box because I want to hear from Adam Henrique, who, by the way, admitted he made an error on the power play goal against. So he admitted that. And then the clip that we'll hear from Henrique is a little bit more about the penalty kill in general. So our Weiss Johnson sound box brought to you by Weiss Johnson. Struddy.
Yeah, and air conditioning. From now until November 22nd, get 20% off all garage heater installs. Help make your life more comfortable from a warm car or a toasty man cave like Ryan Rashaw. Contact Weiss Johnson today to get on this great deal now.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Here's number 19, Adam Henrique.
You like to kill in pairs and kind of have that familiarity with each other where you're just going, and in the back of your head what the other guys are doing, and it just flows easy. So I think at times we're finding that, and then there's just little things, little details that are sometimes get out of sync. Clears, little roots. They're keeping pucks in, and then they end up in the back of your net. So it's just those little things, but they end up being big things in the end.
So there you go from Adam Henrique. Struds, what did you see with the kill?
That was way too easy, and it looked like a practice for the New Jersey Devils. The puck went kind of down, back up to Hamilton, over, back up. Like it was just a clinic. They were moving around, and the Oilers, they were a half step behind, sticks not in the lanes. Like it was just way too easy. And then Jesper Bratt just kind of got lost, and the puck, it wasn't like there was deception. A lot of times you see it where the puck goes down to the goal line. Everyone turns and faces that way. Then they pass it back up to the slot and he shoots it. Well, this was like a level pass. So it was so quick. Give the Devils credit. That was a skilled play, but it was just too easy from the Oilers. And it was interesting hearing Knoblauch post-game. He made the comment that we're not getting beat in one way. And I would agree with him. Like, it's not just one way they're getting beat. It's just every night they're getting beat in different ways by the PK or by the power play of the other team. And it's I think confidence is the big thing right now. And I know people can't believe there's confidence when it comes to penalty kill, but there 100% is. And I think they have zero confidence in themselves as individuals and as a group, what they're trying to do. I don't think they don't believe they can do it. And it's not the system. It's that they don't think they can do it. There's zero confidence, Chagar, on that ice.
Yeah, for sure. We just talked about the Oilers struggling with their zone entry on their power play. How about that zone entry from the Devils? And I don't know if that's, if the Oilers are giving it up a little too early, but man, was that a nice play at the blue line. Just, commands the line, cuts left, and then just a sneaky little dish back to the right against the grain that just bought them some time and space, and then tic-tac, boom, and it's in. But I thought, like this Devils power play, I think it's the fourth or fifth best in the league, something like that. But that was a great zone entry. I thought, Stred, since we're talking about the Oilers' struggles on that front.
Well, tons of skill, right? They have their own skill. A lot of talented players on that lineup. But I always, as a penalty killer, you're trying to take away their time and space. I know that's a cliche, but what it means is that you want to try to get people on an island so they're kind of by themselves when they get the puck, and then you can close on them. But when there's close support and someone drives towards you, then throws it back to the space they left or area they're close to, usually that ice is open. And now all of a sudden that player has complete control of the puck. And that's what good zone entries do. Think of when Connor Leon drive the middle and then they just dish it out to Nuge, usually on one side or the other, usually Nuge, but you know what I mean? Yeah. And then he's got space. He takes it down. He does a little backhand pass to Bouchard. Now it was 2 passes on the entry, boom, and they have complete control and they're set up. And, so that's what you got to do. That's how you enter the zone. That's how you get it in there. And as killers, there's really not much you can do, because if you overplay that, they're going to drive around you or chip it past you. And now there's an on-man rush in behind you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Struds, I'm just getting home, and I think Brownie will probably be joining us fairly soon. So why don't we do this? I think we have one more clip from Chris Knoblauch talking about the game in general. So, Struds, why don't we throw to that clip, then you do Relentless, You guys set up the poll. I'll get inside, and then I'll join you for next segment takeaways. So I'll leave you with that, Struddy, and we'll chat in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, Relentless, the poll. And right now, let's hear from head coach Chris Knobloch.
Do we want to, sorry, did he want to hear the special teams one or the back-to-back discussion?
I think the special
Whatever
teams
you
one.
want.
Okay.
That's just
okay. No, it's
special
good. Let's do that one. Yeah.
Well, special teams are huge. You look at our run through the playoffs, and there's no way we're going to the Stanley Cup final if we didn't have an unbelievable power play, an unbelievable penalty kill. That got us through a lot of series. It wins you hockey games. And right now, we know our power play is going to get better. We know our penalty kill is going to get better. It's just finding the execution.
Yeah, he nailed it. And that execution's so key. And you know, Henrique talked about it too. It's just that those, and people don't want to hear, but the details. This is where I have to be. When this happens, this is my cue. I'm going over here. And then when I see that player going there, this is where I go. We're all moving together. We're in unison. And it seems so simple when you're doing it, but when you're not, and one or two guys are out of sync, or two guys are out of sync, the whole thing just collapses. So I think they can get it back on track, but they can't think about what's happened. They have to think about what they can do. So let's just focus on the next game, Wednesday night. I think it's Vegas. Let's just worry about that. Okay, let's do, you want to get to the poll, Zoop?
Sure. Or you want to do Relentless first, then the poll?
Sure. Let's do Relentless then. Okay. The Relentless is brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. If you're looking to hire entry-level staff for your company, UCAN Youth Services trains youth in pre-employment skills to help get them ready, willing, and able to join your team. Check out www.ucan.ca for more information. This one's pretty easy, and not that people are going to love it, but it's I'm going to go with Jake Allen. I thought Jake Allen, who's had a decent start to the year, not great. He's not probably playing as much as he thought he would like with Markstrom there now. But I thought he had a good game tonight. Jake Markstrom was solid. He made some important saves at important times. And you get a shutout. Give the guy credit to him. I think he's my Relentless player tonight.
It was a high quality, you know, really, I mean, especially in the first two periods too. There was a time at which the shots were pretty even, but the quality of saves that Jake Allen was having to make were just higher danger. It was a really good game from him. He's a guy with a lot of longevity. He's been able to go on little runs kind of throughout his career, and he looked really good tonight. Yeah, and his gear looked awesome too. He looked slick. Yeah,
I mean, there's been a couple good, one particularly good goalie that played for the Devils, and they played good. He played a relentless player. I don't always like to give it to teams, other teams' players, but I thought he was really good tonight. Okay, that brings us to our YouTube poll, brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center, helping you play better golf since 1999 with their TrackMan fitting bays, instruction, after-sales support, golf merchandise, and clothing. Check out their pro shop style atmosphere located at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. What do you got for us, Soups?
Well, I've got Shogger's other shot in here. I'll be really quick. This was just a really kind of actually a curiosity on my part, which is I wondered how there was lots of talk about tonight's broadcast not being available on Sportsnet or, you know, places people would normally go for it. It was on Amazon Prime. So the poll question is just finding out how people consumed the game tonight. How did you watch the game tonight? Through an Amazon Prime account? Didn't watch it all, found another way to watch it, as there are some other ways out there that you're not supposed to do. Or the last choice was old school, listen to the radio. So the votes are trickling in there, and we'll see what everybody has to say about how they viewed this evening's. I want to call it action. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I had a few people, buddies text me wondering the same thing, because maybe they don't have Prime. Like, I find people kind of rotate in and out of their extras, you know, like whatever it is, whether it's Netflix or Prime or Disney or Apple TV, people kind of rotate in and out. But it was because I never usually have those conversations with anybody. Like, it's just like, we're just going to watch it on Sportsnet or whatever. Right. So, it'll be interesting to see what people come up.
Obviously, people who didn't know anything about it tonight just expected to go to their regular place, and there would be the game magically, and it was not.
I wonder what happened in bars. Like, can they just play it in bars? Like, there must be some kind of agreement. No,
somebody meant, yeah, I would think that.
Know?
I would think so. Although somebody did say on the stream much earlier that they said it ruined their night because they went to get their usual bar watch at the game and get their wings, and it wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that would work because it's a streaming service. Like, I don't really know. And I think it complicates things. I think that's what frustrates people. It's just complicated. We're used to one thing and then it complicates it. So let's see what happens at the end of the night. Okay, let's step out here. Brownie be joining us here momentarily. Obviously, we got Shoggers trying to get his, he'll get set up as well. When we come back, we'll get into takeaways with Shogger, Brownie, and myself.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
Back on the good mic. All right, time now for our takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf, your local John Deere dealer across central Alberta. It's got locations in Falaire, High Prairie, Barhead, Westlock, Mayerthorpe, Edmonton, Warburg, Wetaskiwin, St. Paul, Vermilion, Lloydminster. You know what I'm saying. They're basically everywhere, plus online at horizonagturf.com. That's horizonagturf.com. Visit them for all of your equipment needs. As Rob Brown hops in tonight to join us as well. Brownie, how was the temperature? How were fans feeling on your guys' show? I haven't had a great look at the stream yet because I just got home, but I can imagine people weren't exactly thrilled. How'd it go with Bryn?
Well, one of the first questions is, should the Oilers contemplate going and asking Wayne Gretzky to coach? That coaching might be an issue, and Gretzky is the answer. So we had to we had to explain that Wayne probably doesn't want to coach anymore. He's living a stress-free life, and that Chris Knobloch's probably not the problem. So that was how our conversation started on the show tonight.
So measured, hey?
Yeah, really calm response. I love hearing that. Oh,
that's funny. I lobbed one out there for Struds in the first segment, Brownie. I just kind of said, look, take it where you want to take it. So I'll ask you the same thing. Like, if I were to say to you, what is your headline on what happened to the Oilers tonight? What would it be, buddy?
Same old. They can't score goals. They make big mistakes, and their special teams let them down. It's the same thing that's plagued them all season long. This is a team that's goals would be expected. It was always, okay, we got to be better defensively, but they're not scoring. They're averaging about 2 goals a game on the season. Their power play tonight has a chance to pull them within 1 in the third period, really get nothing going on it. Their penalty killing, they take a mental mistake penalty. Their penalty killing gets beat. They're at 60% on the season. So it's same old. The things that have affected the Oilers negatively all season long reared its head again tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what are you seeing on the power play, Brownie? Struds did not love the configuration of the 2 D-men there, feeling it's maybe a little bit stagnant given your power play expertise. What say you to that?
Well, you're taking Bouchard away from where he's successful, and that's up in the diamond. They had a lot of where both Ekholm and Bouchard were both on the blue line, and to me, I think that's easier to kill, just getting in a shooting lane. I don't. To me, it's if McDavid's not there, and it's going to affect your power play. I don't understand why they don't have another forward out there. I like Ekholm, I do, but to me, the way they have it set up is, and I agree with Struds, it's very stagnant, and you're getting away from all the strengths of the Oilers' power play, getting the puck down low, throwing it cross ice, letting Leon play with it. To me, it's just they're into almost a boring power play setup, and the Edmonton Oilers power play, when it's clicking, is anything but boring. So, yeah, to me, it looked very predictable, and that's something that we've never ever said about the Oilers power play.
Yeah, what you just said, I literally just said about 10 minutes ago. So we're both seeing the same thing. You from the offensive side, me from the defensive side. And Brownie, I think the three forwards, they don't know what to do. I don't think they know what to do out there. Like, where do we go? I don't think I've ever played 2, 3, and 2. They're thinking like Leon's like, guys put 2 D-men out in the power play. I haven't done it since I was in U11. Like you know what I mean? So I don't honestly, I don't think they know what to do because no one's moving. And it's a small sample, but no one's moving.
Good, and it's a good point. Like, there was about 3 or 4 times where Nugent Hopkins got the puck, and he had no idea who he was supposed to pass it to. And then Leon would get the puck, and it'd be the same thing, and they just kept going back to Bouchard and Ekholm. So, yeah, I agree. I think it's hard to replicate what Connor does on your power play. But to me, it's simpler. Put someone in the middle, and that's your guy. That's who you're going to hit with the pass. If you got nowhere else, just 4 forwards. They only know 4 forwards, this group. Even when the Oilers are up a goal late in a hockey game, they never put 2 defensemen on the ice on their power play. So I agree with you. The forwards look confused, and I've never seen the Oilers' power play look confused in all the years I've been doing this.
Okay, guys. So who's the guy? Let's all pick a forward to put out there. I know who my guy is.
I know who your guy is too.
I'm going with Jeff. I'm going with Jeff Skinner. I am. I'm going with Jeff Skinner, someone with a nose around the net.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Henrique Struds.
Oh, well, no, he's the answer to every question, but not this one. So I think what I would do is no, I'm just kidding. This is why I'm choosing Skinner. I think Skinner is a wild card, and he skates around a little bit like Connor, and he can get the puck and move, and I think he creates a little bit of chaos out there. And then the other guys can kind of have their spots. So I would actually put Skinner in there and say, hey, try to be a little bit more ad-libby and just a bit more unpredictable. Because right now, like I could probably kill that penalty out there because, like you said, Brownie, there's not a lot of fear. Like if I get hit by a shot from the point, I'd take that over a side swipe from Draisaitl one-timer.
Yeah, I agree. Skinner'd be my guy too. Skinner makes things out of nothing. I mean, there was a play tonight where the Nugent Hopkins lost control. The puck came back to Skinner. He kicked it up to his stick, and he got off a pretty good shot. He's good around the net. He's got a nose for them. I mean, the guy scored 30 and 40 goals in the season. So I was really, really surprised when they went Ekholm Bouchard. I really was. I thought it would be a simple one. Here, Jeff Skinner, here's your chance to shine while Connor's out. And I agree with you, too, where he can just sneak all over the ice, kind of like McDavid does, and just find openings. Pure goal scorers, and Skinner is that. They find open ice. And I think like tonight, the Jesper Bratt goal, where he was down in the blue paint, and then he popped out for the one-timer on the power play, that's what the Oilers need with Skinner. They don't need to go back up Bouchard, Ekholm, and when one of them shoots, that's what all the penalty killers want. I want Ekholm shooting from the blue line as opposed from Skinner shooting from 12 feet out.
So I was thinking to myself as host of this show, if I don't bring this up, what are the chances it gets brought up on the show tonight? And I've decided that the chances are not very good that this would have got brought up if not for me bringing it up. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it.
But you know what? I'm going to call. Before you say it, Sugar, I guarantee what you're about to say, I'm bringing up in brownie points. Just so you know, I was going to bring it up, but go ahead.
Okay. You know what I'm bringing up, Struds? Well, I get it. Third game in, 4 nights? Is that what it is? Third game in 4 nights?
I know what it is. No, it's not. I'm actually off. It's not.
Yeah,
it'll be 3 games in 4 nights when they play 4 ahead. So technically it is 3 and 4.
So it's not even
done it yet. So
it's not even. So we were even wrong before about them being tired. What the hell were we even talking about?
That's
before?
my bad. That was my
all
bad.
the more reason why I have to ask, guys, is it okay for the Edmonton? Somebody's phone ringing. Zuby. Brownie, you good? You there?
I'm good. Someone hung up on me, but I'm back. You guys couldn't get rid of me that good.
I just heard a phone ring in my ear. I was on a roll too. I was rolling. I was on a roll.
I didn't even hear what you said. I
haven't said it yet.
Okay, I'm excited then.
Reset your roll.
I'm going to say it. Here it comes. In any way, shape, or form, in any universe, is it okay for the Edmonton Oilers to finish that game with 5 hits? How can that be okay? And I know maybe it's not the best kept stat. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt, guys, and let's say it was 8. Still. Anyone?
Shogger,
Bueller?
I agree, Shogger. It was in my brownie points tonight. You were going to get points tonight because this is your baby.
Them.
Last year was Stetcher was your baby. This year it's the Oilers' lack of physicality.
He was not my baby. Don't even try that.
Broberg and Holloway. No. He had twins. They were called Broberg and Holloway.
VA says we didn't lose because of lack of hits. VA says I'm not suggesting they lost because of lack of hits either, guys, but it's still not okay.
But when you look at the New Jersey Devils, a couple of reasons they haven't gone far in the playoffs the last number of years. 1, they've always had injury problems. 2, they've had terrible goaltending. But 3, is they're a smaller team. They're superstars, and Strud brings it up a lot when he talks about some stars around the league come playoff time. They're superstars. They're smaller players. Hughes isn't that big. Easter isn't that big. Tatar, not very big. It's a smaller team. And normally when you play smaller teams, try to be physical on them. Not easy. Smaller players in the NHL are used to not getting hit because they're smart enough to stay away from it. But you try to lean on them. You try to be physical. The New Jersey Devils, I wouldn't consider a physical team, but they did out-hit the Oilers 18-5 in this hockey game. The Oilers, through 40 minutes, had 1 hit. So, yes, Shogger, you are right. That there probably could have been a little bit more focus on physicality in a game where you're playing against a team whose best players are a little smaller in stature.
The guys that the Devils brought in, they play heavy, right? Brendan Dillon, Cotter, those type of guys. They come out and they were noticeable because it wasn't a very physical game. And I'm not suggesting they were running around just killing everybody, but they had some hits. And the Oilers' usual suspects, and I'll look at Nurse and Paul Coulson, they weren't overly physical. And I just, okay. Oh, they had 1. I thought maybe there was 1 between them, but yeah. So they only had, there was 2. So they accounted for almost 50% of the grand total of 5 hits. So it didn't have the tone of a heavy hitting game. Right. I don't know that there was a scrum. I didn't see, I don't think I checked the stats. I didn't see any dirty looks given to anybody over the course of the game. So it didn't really have that feel. Both teams just wanted to skate and play. And I think, quite honestly, guys, I think that suited the Devils more than suited the Oilers.
Yeah, I agree. So Noel Rinsky, who's a great contributor on the show, is on the polar opposite side of this. So I'll bring in a couple of his comments here. So he says, Ryan, they had the puck the whole time, right? That's like the Dallas Aikens thing. So you know what the perfect game is, Spec? The perfect game is 0 hits because you've got the puck the whole night, right? So that's that basic idea. And then he follows it up by saying, I'm sorry. Where is it here? Where did it go? I'm sorry you're picking one stat You're looking at one stat and trying to make it mean something. I don't know. I'll throw it back at you, Noel. I mean, I'm not saying it's why they lost the game. None of us are saying that. But I think that it's been a common thread for this team that on nights where they default to we're not a very physical group, that there's kind of a lack of engagement, a lack of intensity. And I think they generally kind of end up on the wrong side of those ones, as opposed to nights where in some way, shape, or form, the competitive juices get flowing, even just a little bit. So I don't know. I'll ask you two guys that have been in the National Hockey League, do the competitive juices get flowing a little bit when maybe you step over the boards and at least have it in your head that maybe you're going to accidentally run into somebody? Or do you play exactly the same whether you're thinking like that or not?
I think tonight's the type of game. Okay, go ahead, Brownie. Go ahead.
No, you go first, right? You go. You're the better hitter than me, so you go first.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I got run into a lot. I think what they needed a night like tonight, I think they needed, you have to go and kind of pick a fight to kind of get yourself into it. And if you ever watched the Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, on nights where he was maybe having a tough time finding energy, and not that he doesn't care or whatever, but just finding a reason to be pissed off. And some nights you need that. So you whatever you say, if you're Darnell Nurse, people say that Brendan Dillon's better than me, or whatever. If you're, Leon Draisaitl will say Nico Heischer's got more goals than me. I'm going to make this guy have a brutal day, and that gets you going. And I think that brings it out of you. Instead of saying I got to get 5 hits tonight, that never worked for me. I could never say I want to get 5 hits. I'd go out and find someone and get mad at this guy for no reason and look at me like, what the hell's this guy's problem? I'm like, well, you just picked the wrong number tonight, right? And then that was too bad. And I think that's the attitude you have to take, more so than we got to get to a certain quota of hits.
No, you're right, Strud. But you looked at, and the players you talked about, that Cotter, McDermott, when they stepped on the ice, they were looking to throw a body check. That's how they were going to contribute in the game. They weren't going to score a goal. They're going to contribute with physicality. The Oilers' bottom 6 didn't do that, and they didn't have that mindset going out there. And I agree with what you said earlier. A no-hitter favors the New Jersey Devils more so than it favors the Oilers, for a simple reason. The Oilers' best players are big. Leon's big. He's strong. Hyman's a big, strong guy. Like, those are guys that the physicality doesn't bother them. When Connor McDavid's playing, same thing. You can lean on them. It's not going to affect them. But leaning on a Hughes or leaning on a Hischier, that will affect them more. And that's what happens to them in the playoffs. Their best players, they start getting physical with them. Now, there were other reasons why the Oilers lost this game. But if at the beginning of the game you would have said that one team was going to out-hit the other 18-5, I would not have put any money on the Devils being that team. But, I will give the one guy that did right in. The Oilers did have the puck most of the first 40 minutes, but they only had one hit in those 40 minutes. They probably had a couple opportunities to throw checks as well. But I do believe as a hockey player, there used to be a saying, get hit or throw a hit to get yourself into a hockey game. And it was true. There became, all of a sudden, there was a little bit of energy throwing a hit or taking a hit. The Oilers didn't have that kind of energy tonight, but not the only reason they lost this hockey game.
Yeah, for sure. Oilers, by the way, was 65% of the shot attempt share tonight. So, yes, they had the puck on their stick quite a bit more than the New Jersey Devils. But to finish a 60-minute hockey game with 5 hits collectively, you literally have to be trying not to. You have to be diving out of the way of people to not accidentally get marked as a hit. It's unfathomable to me. Anyways, we'll move on from that. We got to wrap the segment, guys, because we're a little bit long. We haven't talked at all about Connor McDavid yet, so I'm going to do that real quick. I was down at the rink today, guys. I watched him at practice. He went hard. Like, he pushed it, and he looked fine. We talked to him after. He said he felt good. He felt, no issues. Now, we don't know how he recovered from that, and I think a lot of it has to do with how does it rebound, how does it bounce back from when you push it. But, probably down there again tomorrow. We'll keep an eye on it. My guess is that it's Saturday/Tuesday. Like, I'm thinking maybe Saturday based on the way he looked today, and assuming that it reacts well to what happened today. It wouldn't shock me if McDavid found a way to get back in time for Saturday. So just wanted to update you on that because I was down at the rink and saw it with my own two eyes earlier on today. That was Takeaways brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. When we come back, Brownie Points and Struddy's World. This is Got Your Back presented by Play Alberta.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandDentistry.com.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
All right, welcome back to the show. Time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. They've got locations in Calgary and in Edmonton. So whether you're a homeowner, a contractor, or a builder, DLR is the most reliable source for vinyl fence. They've got unmatched service, really high-quality North American-made products. No sanding, no staining, no painting. If you haven't tried vinyl fence out, you got to take a look at it. It's a great option for you. Visit DLRvinylproducts.ca.
Yeah, get no respect.
Struddy.
Yeah. There's no worse feeling than when you're the 6th or 7th defenseman and you're part of the reason there's too many men penalty called against your team. Tonight, looked to me like Evan Bouchard was coming to the bench to change. He changed his mind, and Edmonton already jumped on the ice. So the puck went right to Bouchard, and like 10 feet behind is the other team. Like, he's just standing there. And I know I shouldn't be laughing because the coaches wouldn't, but like you have the 2 right shot defensemen. There's only 3 on the whole team. And 2 of them are occupied about 10 feet apart on the ice. Like, it was so funny. I was dying. I was just dying. Because
we might have to save him here, Zuby. Cut back to the 3 shot. Let him catch his breath.
So anyway, so just imagine though, you're Ty, right? And you think he's changed. So you jump out, you start backpedaling, and then all of a sudden he doesn't come off, and you're just standing there. It's like the lights turn on and the party's over. You're like, am I supposed to be here? The guy you're changing literally gets the puck. The guy you're changing for has the puck on his stick, and you're like 10, 15 feet behind him. Anyways, like, I didn't really know what my purpose is, but I was dying laughing when I saw it because he probably felt sick about it. I don't know what it looked like live, guys, but on TV, I was dying, absolutely dying.
Well, you know what's funny, Strud, is because I didn't see how it happened, but the look on Bouchard's face when he gets the puck and he passes it, and all of a sudden he realized he passed to the guy that was his guy. It's like, oh no. So then Bouchard just has this look and he just starts going as fast as he can to the bench. At that point, the referees had called it, but it was funny. It's like the 2 guys that aren't supposed to be out there passing it to each other. It's like, oh.
You know, it's like that meme you get that where there's like 3 Spider-Mans in a room and they're all pointing at each other, you know, and they're like, no, you're the guy. No, I'm the guy. No, you're like, it's just a funny thing. Like, I know that the coaches won't think it's funny, but you're right. He did pass it to Emerson, didn't he? Because then Emerson turns around and just shoots it against the wall. So like, you imagine like that's the guy I was supposed to change for. He just passed me the puck.
Martin Ferguson says, this episode of Struddy's World brought to us by Edibles. Thank you for that one, Martin Ferguson.
I got high enough watching that exchange because I actually never did that. I did a lot of bad things on the ice. I never did that where the guy I was changed for was right in front of me. I'm both playing the same. It was, yeah, that was something. That's a hard one. But it was a bad change, and ultimately it was, could have been the difference in the game, guys.
Oh man, I wonder if how long before the coaches can have a laugh about that. Like, what would the coaches be saying with the coach's door closed, looking at that video?
Wow, this is a G-rated
They'd be shaking their head. Yeah.
They're not laughing like I was laughing, but they'll be like, "What the hell were these guys thinking?" Because it was obviously Bouchard looked like he was going to change, so Emerson jumps out there, and they changed his mind without communicating it and just stayed out there. Like, generally speaking, the rule is if you are committed to changing, you go off and let your buddy come out.
But Strud, this is what I've asked about it a few times before. The Oilers don't change right for right, left for left all the time. All of a sudden, you'll look and both Bouchard and Emerson are on the ice, and I'm like, they sometimes they switch it up. I don't understand why they do it. Then all of a sudden they'll ice it, and then they got 2 righties stuck on the ice together. So I don't know if they never showed a replay of who came on, but it was a complete mess up. And unfortunately, as you're right, that was the game because the way that Jake Allen was playing, that power play goal again, that put the game out of reach for the Edmonton Oilers. They weren't scoring 3 goals on Jake Allen tonight. And obviously, at the end of the night, they didn't score any.
Yeah. All right. An epic edition of Struddy's World brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Oh, roll the music, Zuby, because I feel like I'm about to collect myself some brownie points tonight. It's going to be my lucky night. Brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Their beef jerky out of this world, right? We've told you that. Sweet and spicy jerky from Hamel's has been to the International Space Station. Boom. Bottom line, you have to try it. This month's special, $85 gets you 3 pounds of beef jerky and free shipping Alberta-wide. Fast shipping anywhere in the province. Hop on to albertajerky.com, order yours, enter the code GOTYOURBACK for 10% off. Brownie, give me my points.
Well, we will see if they're still in my brownie point dossier, but we're going to start first. I got 8 brownie points to my man, Patty Mahomes and the KC Chiefs. They go to 8-0 tonight with a big overtime victory, so good on them. Been a Chiefs fan for my whole life that Patty Mahomes was on the team. I got minus 60 brownie points to the Oilers penalty killing unit. It's been a struggle all year long, and tonight they give up a back-breaking goal on a bad penalty in a period that the Oilers dominate. They get outscored because the Oilers penalty killing unit can't get it done. So minus 60 for them. I have got 91 brownie points to Dawson Mercer. The flip pass that he made to Timo Meier in the third period, that was all world. He flipped it, caught Meier going full speed into his hand onto the ice for the breakaway goal. That was a thing of beauty. I don't like giving points to the opposition, but Dawson Mercer deserved that one. That was all world. I have 13 brownie points to Schauger. He's been harping on the lack of physicality all season long by the Oilers. Today they got out hit 18-5, a difference of 13 hits by a small, skilled team. So Schauger, 13 points for you. And the final one, this was a big one. It probably might have gone unnoticed if it wasn't for 27 brownie points for Brett Kulak. after Nico Hischier broke Ty Emberson's ankle on a move, Brett Kulak made an unbelievable play breaking up the 2-on-1. If that turns into a goal, every Sports Center highlight reel would have had Nico Hischier breaking Ty Emberson's ankle. So Kulak saved Emberson the embarrassment of hearing from his buddies for the next 3 weeks. So Brett Kulak gets 27 brownie points.
That is a great point, Struds. Like, for that to end up in a goal, that's going to be everywhere.
We think about, remember when Mario deked 2 defensemen, including Ray Bourque? Or was it Ray Bourque? He did one, and then Sean Chambers did another one.
Well, there was 2 of them. Ray Bourque was the Boston Bruins one that he turned inside out, but the one that's on every time they do the NHL playoffs, it's Sean Chambers from the Minnesota North Stars.
Yeah. Awful. Tough. And it's Mario, so you don't really say anything, but yeah, tough one.
Good stuff. That was Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. And my lead over Struds on the season increases. I believe I'm up to a 60 or 70 brownie point lead at this point, Struds. So you better get on your better behavior, buddy, or it's going to be a smoke show by Christmas time. You're not going to have a chance.
Your back can't keep it up. Your back will collapse. By Valentine's Day, I'll have the lead.
All right, Brownie, that'll be the end of you tonight, my friend. Thank you very much, and we'll chat in a couple of days, pal.
Sounds good, guys. Take care.
All right, that was Rob Brown and Brownie Points. Struds, not a lot of work on the scoreboard tonight. Not a ton of other action out there, but let's get it ready to roll, and that scoreboard will be brought to you by our good friends over at Canadian Club in honor of the founding year of the CC Distillery, 1858. The all-new Canadian Club Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58% for the whiskey connoisseur out there. Highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date, and it is fantastic with a butterscotch finish that is so smooth. That is Canadian Classic 1858. Light night, Struds.
Yeah, really night. Only 2 games tonight. It picks up a bit tomorrow, but another game goes 3-0. This one, the Kings over the Preds. Nothing too crazy happened in the game. There were 2 fights. Actually, Luke Schenn fights Tanner Jeannot. And then Ryan O'Reilly sticking up for his buddy Gustav Nyquist when Burroughs hits him with a knee, and they get into a fight. So pretty spirited affair.
See that.
Yeah, a bit of a spirited one. Tanner Jeannot, I don't think, has ever seen a fight he doesn't want to partake in. And Luke Schenn, doing what he can to get his group going. So good win for the Kings. Climb up a little bit in the division, and the Preds just continue to kind of struggle to find their way, buddy. They're just not. It's not coming together for them as of yet.
Yeah. 6-6-1 for the Oilers, Struds. Maybe we'll just take a quick sec here to kind of evaluate the standings. I mean, the Flames are in front of them. The Kings are in front of them. Those are the 2 sort of surprises, I guess we would say. Like, we, assume that the Oilers would finish in the standings ahead of those 2 teams. But, 6-3-1 in their last 10 games, and I think it's, despite this loss, it's still there. It's been turning in the right direction, but 13 games in to be sitting at 500 is a pretty massive disappointment for this team. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, especially with all the talk, right? That they're going to come out, or we're going to be different. And I stand by my comment, and I'll go to my grave saying this. I think that there's a hangover, a fog for this group. They weren't able to shake it in the summer. And they weren't able to shake it in training camp. They weren't able to shake it early in the season. They're starting to shake it now. And it's not an excuse. That's just a fact. I mean, I don't know. We've seen it now twice. Yeah. I don't know what that's like. I've never had a fog like that. I never went that far in the playoffs, or won or lost deep in the playoffs.
You did have some deep junior runs. How fast was the turnaround in a junior season?
But it's different. It's May, right? May 15th. And so
yeah, that's true.
You're done. Yeah. And not to, like we won twice. So and we were young. I had no idea. I didn't even know what honestly, I didn't even think I knew what the Memorial Cup was when we went. Like, we got another tournament. What are we in Pee Wee? Like, I guess we'll go play. I got nothing going on. I got to go home and get a job. I guess I can go play and whatever. So yeah. But it was like May 15th, May 30th, something. You were done. You went home and you just started working out. It wasn't like end of June, and I didn't have a wife or kids. Like I had nothing, right? Nothing really.
All right, that was our scoreboard brought to you by our good friends at Canadian Club. Okay, when we come back, the second edition of our Core Blue Liners brought to you by HSE Core Services. Struds, you did a deep dive on a member of the New Jersey Devils. Tease that for us.
Yeah, Dougie Hamilton, interesting player. Big presence tonight. I don't want to pat myself too hard on the back. I don't want to have bruises all year, but I've picked two pretty good D-men that I thought had both good games. Rasmus Andersson tonight, Dougie Hamilton.
All right, we'll get to that when we come back. Very short commercial break. We've got that. We've got Ask Us Anything. We're going to take a lap around the league, our play of the day. Lots of shows still ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. Real quick break here.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that just leads to better living.
All right, let's do a deep dive on a blue liner, shall we? Time for Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, HSE Core has your back when it comes to health and safety compliance, from creating and managing a tailored health and safety program that meets all legislation and COR requirements. HSE Core supports clients, operations every step of the way. Visit them online, hsecore.com. That is HSECOR. There's no E at the end of it. So hsecor.com for more information. Struds, let's talk a little about 6'6", 230-pound Dougie Hamilton.
Big man. Big. When I wrote, I always kind of write notes, about this guy, and big. That was my first comment. Big. And he looks big. He presents himself as really big out there. Gets around the ice well for a big man. Obviously thinks very offensive. He's an offensively thinking defenseman. He's pretty physical. I wouldn't say he's as physical as maybe he could be, but he moves the puck quickly and hard, as we saw in the power play. But the one thing that stood out to me tonight is his ability to get in a position to shoot pucks. He is constantly looking for a hole in the defense. Where can he pop into? Where can I move myself to present a target for a shot? And what I like about it, he doesn't have the huge windup. He's got a really short little windup. And he kind of, it's weird. He almost has his blades almost turned down. He just punches it, boom, it's on the net right away. And he had multiple shots today. I think he had a handful, like 2, 3, whatever it was, but he was always looking for that spot. And that's hard for the defending team, whether power play or especially 5-on-5, because as a winger, you got to keep track of this guy. And he's not that small. So you think he wouldn't lose him in coverage, but he does get lost. I was always surprised when he sided the Devils, but now a couple of years later, I can understand what maybe they presented to him as a future plan for him and the Devils together.
You know what I've always thought is interesting about Dougie Hamilton? So here he is. He's 6'6", 230 pounds. He's a right shot defenseman that has 20 goal potential, Struds. Boston Bruins, Calgary Flames, Carolina Hurricanes, New Jersey Devils. Like, this should be a one organization guy. He's got that kind of that size, that skill, that ability, but he bounced around a fair amount here. And now he's got some traction here in New Jersey, clearly injured for a huge chunk of last season. But it always surprised me that I'll never forget when Brad Treliving traded him. I was kind of like, oh, interesting. He bounced around quite a bit for a guy of this particular skill set.
And that is a red flag. When you have something that looks so good and, you think, what are we missing here? What are we missing that this is his fourth organization? When he came up in Boston, you're like, this guy's going to be here forever. and then he got bounced out of there, or not bounced is unfair. He was moved out of there because we don't know everything that happened. But his fourth organization, for right, where something should be a fixture on your back end, it is a bit of a red flag.
$9 million a season. And I believe he's in year 4 of 7 of that deal. It wraps up when he is 35 years old. Big ticket. And pretty good offensive numbers that were really the driver behind that deal. With those offensive numbers, it'd be interesting to see if he can get back into that kind of goal scoring zone that he was in a couple of seasons ago. Had 22 goals in 82 games a couple seasons ago, then held to just 20 games last year at 5 goals. And he's off to a start here with 8 points in 15 games, but just 1 goal so far. That was Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. All right, Struds, let's take a lap, brought to you by our good friends at Acon. Want to look around the NHL and, oh, hey, Zuby. What's up, buds? Hey, how are you, man? We can't hear you either. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Zuby,
you can't hear me either. That was very surprising.
There,
I pressed the button that's supposed to play the take a lap intro.
Okay, so you know what's funny is Steve Taylor was doing the show the other night, and almost the exact same thing happened. So there's a little wires are crossed on your end or something. He brought himself up in the big giant single shot as well.
Full screen. I'm trying to get myself some camera time.
yeah. Zuby always fighting for more FaceTime on the show. Well, do you have Acon ready to go?
Yeah, but why am I over top of it? Okay,
let's do it again. Let's see if we can do it again. Is my microphone going to cut out, or is it still good?
No, you go and you do the read, and hopefully I'll get. I'm seeing something unusual here. It shouldn't be me.
Hey, nice job with our brand new partners at Acon, Zuby. That's great. This will be their second and final appearance on God.
Last night went so perfectly.
I know it was good. Anyway, Struddy and I are going to take a lap around the league, and that's brought to you by Acon. Over 150 years in the construction industry, they've spearheaded some of the most notable projects across the country. They got the CN Tower, the Gardiner Expressway, St. John's Seaway, the Expo's Biosphere. That was all the way back in 1967. They've been around a long time, one of Canada's original leaders in the heavy industrial contracting sector. All over North America, but proudly here in Edmonton as well. Got an opportunity to meet some of the big wigs at Acon here in Edmonton. It's a great crew. They know how to have a good time in a suite in an Oiler game, I can tell you that. They're building what matters to enable future generations to thrive. Struddy, let's take a lap, buddy. What stories have you intrigued around the league right now?
Well, we'll start here at home. The Oilers made a bit of a smaller trade with the Philadelphia Flyers. Nothing major, and I don't know how much it's going to affect the NHL roster, but
yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Ben Gleason, pretty good D-man. I thought he looked pretty good. Big lefty D-man. He was traded to Philadelphia for a big right shot defenseman who's played a bit in the NHL. Adard, I believe his last name is. And he's coming now. The reason for this trade, people are thinking that Ben Gleason counted as an AHL experienced pro, so he can only have so many in the lineup every night. So now he can move and play somewhere else in Philadelphia and the farm team. I don't know if he plays in AHL. And then the other side, Adard comes back, and now he's going to be able to play in the minors. And to be fair, maybe they need a bit of help, more depth on that right side. He's a big guy, 6'3", 230, college guy. He's played a few games in the NHL. So I'm not, again, I've never seen him play. I don't know what he looks like, how he plays. But, I'm not sure there's any room for Gleason to go. So now maybe there's something here. Shagar, you might know more about the player than I do.
Yeah, no, I mean, you nailed it in terms of the reasoning why, right? Like, you can only dress a certain number, and so this helps them with their ratio of kind of who can be in their lineup night in, night out. He's younger, bigger body, right shot guy, though they've got a pretty good number of right shot guys down there. So honestly, it's just kind of getting, another right shot, younger, bigger into the organization. Tried to get a sense for like where would in the grand scheme of defensemen getting called up, where would he drop into the mix compared to Gleason? And my understanding is he would be fairly similar to where Ben Gleason was in terms of how many guys you got to get deep, to be in there on the call up. But certainly increases their size, right? Gleason wasn't massive. This guy's got good size and a bit of NHL experience. So yeah, deal done by the Oilers. We always take note when they're wheeling and dealing, in particular with right shot defensemen, but this more of a depth move and to do with their lineup night in, night out in the American Hockey League.
Another tidbit of news out of Colorado, something that I think would be really good for this player and for the team. Valery Nikushkin, he have a date set November 15th. He will return and start practicing with the team. Doesn't mean he's playing, but he's returning. He was in stage 3 of the assistance program through the NHL and NHLPA. He's been back skating, I think, on his own and kind of been around the team the last couple of weeks. Well, now set November 15th, he's back with the team. I didn't see any date when he would be playing, but I think that just getting back and practicing, getting back to his own groove. So it's a good story for both the individual and the team because they can sure use him.
And Struds, there's a lot of talk around this one about the Colorado Avalanche and should they be willing to, be accepting him back with open arms, right? That it's one time too many in critical times of the year, and then it gets hard to trust the guy. And there's a lot of narrative out there, and I understand why. Like the timing of him leaving the team, the situation that he's been in, it's been rough. But what I would say about Colorado, I think they have pretty good leadership out there, right? Like Nate McKinnon and company. I think they got some pretty solid leadership out there. And we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what's gone on behind the scenes. We don't know the discussions that have happened. Their willingness to accept this player back with open arms and wish him well and have him be part of things again, their willingness to do that lies entirely in details that we just don't have. So I just kind of wanted to say, you kind of sense that judgment out there about whether they should or shouldn't be another chance and this and that. Hey, man, if Nate McKinnon and the leadership group of that team and that management group is okay with it, then who are we to say different?
Yeah, and we'll never know, and I see both sides of it, right? I totally see both sides of it. But there's also a player there that is one of the best power forwards in the NHL when he's playing. And when he's not available, that would be frustrating. But that there's reasons why as a teammate, and there's a human there. And I think people forget that, a lot of times, yes, you are teammates, but you're friends with these guys. You're with them. Yeah. You spend a lot of time, and you spend, probably more time during the season with them than you would your wife many times because you're there so much together. So, I don't know. It sounds, I've tried to read some comments. Seems like the guys are excited for him to come back and then just go from there, man. I take it one day at a time. I don't, I've never been through that myself. So let's hope it works out for both, for sure, the player, but also the team. It's a good story.
Yeah. And you want him to be well and to do well, and you wish him good things. And from a hockey standpoint, the Avalanche, they can use all the help that they can get, right? So having him potentially back in the lineup at some point for where this team is at, they've got depth issues, they got injury issues. There's a lot going on with that group. So he would certainly be a welcomed addition back. That was Taking a Lap, brought to you by our good friends over at Acon. All right, Zuby, now you get to hop into the show for real instead of just trying to barge your way onto the big screen, because we are getting ready for Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Lower rates means now is the perfect time to revisit your mortgage options. If you need to renew, Maria Gallus with Maximum Mortgages can take care of finding you the best rates and work with your best interests in mind. Mortgagesbymaria.ca is the website, and please tell her that Got Your Back sent to you. And as I'm looking at you, Zuby, I'm realizing I forgot to put my poppy on. I had it on my suit coat and forgot to put it, so I will grab it while you guys get going.
You wore it at the game. And now that was the big box I put myself in. This is the appropriate size big box. That was way too much Zuby for anyone. And I'm getting a pass here from Martin Ferguson. He says third broadcast in 4 nights. The fatigue is real. So he knows maybe we're feeling the fatigue of...
Well, and also, Zuby, that you got to be up first thing in the morning tomorrow on Ray and Dregs. So, our company does Ray and Dregs as well, and Zuby is the technical brains behind that one. So we got an early wake-up call tomorrow, buddy.
Yeah, I'm used to it by now, kind of. I'm a night person, though. I should be better on the night show than I am on the morning show.
Yeah.
But tonight, not so much. A couple little hiccups. Thanks for sticking with us, everybody. Okay, real division on the stream about Podkolzin.
What?
There's a couple people that really don't like him, and we got Stealth Legends in particular saying, I'm amazed how many people think Podkolzin is actually doing something, warranting him some ice time. On the other side of that, we got Paulie saying Pods is at least contributing. He deserves the ice. Anyone doubting him is asking who deserves the ice ahead of him. I think I know where you guys fall on this, but is Vasily Podkolzin overachieving from what you expected? Underachieving in the middle? Like, how do you guys feel about? There's some hate, very surprising to me, hate for Podkolzin on the stream the last few nights.
Really?
It's not the majority, but it's strong. It's loud.
I think that what we're seeing is him missing that opportunity tonight. That is, when you're playing beside Leon, that's a goal you got to score. That's got to tuck in the back of the net, right? And after the game, he talked about, he said, I'd feel badly for Leon and for myself and the team. Like, I've got to and he does have to finish that. Those are the expectations beside. That's how you get 20 goals, 25, tapping in a 3-incher. But I've really liked his game. I like the way he plays. I think that he understands how to play with good players.
Yeah, I think he's an NHL player. I think if he's on your fourth line doing the things he's doing right now, which is, working hard, retrieving pucks, finishing some checks, and making some plays. I think you're in good shape with him there. I think he's shown that he can play with good players, and he can make plays with them. I don't know, it's the natural spot where he's going to fit long term, but you need guys who can sub in there in a pinch, and he's proving himself to be one here so far. I'm telling you, he is like one of the first ones on the ice at practice, one of the last ones to leave, works hard out there, Struds. That's an intangible that I think matters. So yeah, man, I'm fine with the experiment so far. I think he's looked good, and I'm not sure why there would be the division that there is, because he's actually been one of their more consistent players just in terms of bringing what he has night in, night out.
Okay, KD says, my question for you two would be this. What is the standard for this regular season? They emphasize getting home ice advantage. It sure doesn't look like they want it that bad. His or her opinion, looking more like a wild card team. But do you think have the goalposts moved? I mean, that was kind of the goal coming in. Do you think the goalposts have moved? Do you think there's a more realistic approach that needs to be taken here? Or this is still just early season, little bit of slumping?
Yeah, I mean, no, I think they probably have the same goals. I mean, they're 4 points behind Vegas, and Vegas has a game at hand. They play them on Wednesday. So let's assume Vegas loses that game at hand and the Oilers win it. They're now 2 points behind them, right? And they haven't played well at all, right? Their penalty kill has been misfiring. Their power play has been misfiring. So I think that let's give it, if we're still talking like this in game 41, I think I'd maybe change it. But right now, it's so early.
Yeah, I think anything other than first or second in their division would probably be considered underwhelming for this group, despite all the changes, despite everything. I think that should be the expectation on a team that has 97 and 29 and the core group of veterans that they do. So first or second in the division for me is the target that I think that they need to hit. Otherwise, we'll be going, kind of a subpar regular season for what they had.
Okay, our resident Canucks fan, Matt Blom, wants to know, he thinks he might take some heat for this, but he says, who do you think is underperforming more, Nuge or Nurse? Do you guys have an opinion? Do you feel like those two guys, I mean, I think broadly we think they have more to give. Who do you think is underperforming more of those two?
I'm going to go with Nuge. I honestly think Nuge is, I don't know if tired is the right word, but it just doesn't seem to have the same zip to what I've seen. And I think it's early. I think, again, it's early on him. Long year last year. I think we got to be patient with the Nuge.
Well, yeah, I mean, they got no choice but to be patient with the Nuge. He's an important piece of this thing. Yeah, I think it's getting to the point now production wise where, probably time for him to like really get going with it. Like, other players when they go dry, you got to search for ways to generate. You got to figure out a way to get it done. And I'll repeat what I've said before about Nugent Hopkins, is that he's got a pretty elegant, understated game. At times that can be good, and at times, like in slumps, it can be hard. It can be hard to find ways to spring yourself out of these slumps with that style of game. So I'd like to see him start playing like a guy who desperately wants to be putting the puck in more than he currently is.
Okay, we had our thumbs down of the night, and then they took it away. So one of you guys gave the thumbs down came in during this segment, and then one of you guys must have nailed it with that answer because it's been thumbs down retracted. Okay, some flowers for Struddy from CK Pond. Struddy was right. Why change a winning lineup? Oh, there the thumbs down just came back. Struddy was right. Why change a winning lineup? Give yourself a high five and a bowl of pho. Why? What do you go? We haven't talked about that much. They made some tweaks from last night. Was it just the time frame, or do you think it should have stayed with the same lineup?
Well, I just like rewarding guys for winning. Like, hey, good job, man. We're going to keep you in the lineup. And I thought Stetcher played fine. And I didn't think that, I thought Derek Ryan, I don't think it wasn't like they're massive changes, but if you want guys in the bottom of your lineup to die for you and go play hard, when the team wins, leave them in. Like, just leave them in. And obviously this is very biased, but yeah, leave them in.
Yeah. My thought is I like the look of that line better with Caggiula on it. I like the increase in foot speed. So I like that line a little better with Caggiula on it. I probably would have left that one alone. But I mean, we're splitting hairs pretty far down the lineup here, and it's, back-to-back games. I think back-to-back games is really what throws the wrench into things. Struds, had there been an extra day in between there, then maybe. But the idea of getting fresh legs in, I think, is tempting for a coach, and especially when you've got veterans, right? Stetcher and Dermott platooning in and out of the lineup. You don't want to leave either of those guys sitting too long, I don't think.
Caper Boy, now on the flip side of something else that we said earlier, says Devils are on a Western trip. Hard to blame fatigue. Now they've had a few days off, but they're out here doing this, longer Western road trip. Is that to poke holes a little bit in the fatigue argument?
Yeah, I mean, I think once you get out here, it's not that bad, or once you go out east, whatever, it's not that bad, so I don't. And I think they were just resting. I'm guessing last night they would have watched the Oilers played Calgary.
Well, I think they were chilling in Canmore. I think they went to Banff. I think they kind of did that, right? How teams come in, they got the extra day on this swing.
Okay.
I think they spent some time out there, I believe. Thought I heard them talking about that around the rink. So,
but they would have been in Edmonton last night. They weren't going to drive up to Canmore.
Yeah.
Like, I think I always loved it when I was just sitting in the other team's city. I knew they were flying in that night. I like that.
Going to the restaurants, eating their food, enjoying their city. While they're out there working. All right, Zuby, land the plane here, buddy. You got one more?
Yeah, one more before we wrap up the poll. Dave Morley says, OMG, if someone says the Oil got goalied, I'm going to kick my cat. You guys didn't go quite that far. Cat. Some people on the stream did. Are you guys, a cat's health and well-being is on the line here. Did the Oilers get goalied tonight?
No.
They had their chances, right? Like, they had two open nets. Well, Henrique's shot the backhand, and then obviously Paul Colson. Like, Allen played well. I thought the Oilers had chances to score, and they didn't. So he played well.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
I mean, are you getting goalied when you easily could have, if you could just shoot a puck into an empty net, then you'd have 2 goals on the night? Like, is that getting goalied?
Got to be careful.
Yeah. No, this was not like a holy smokes, they just cannot find a way. No, he played well, and I don't want to take anything away from him. By the way, how many goalies around the league have the black cage, Zuby?
Not many. I love it. Lots of guys. The colored cages are coming back. The chrome and the gold cages were really popular for a while there, and he looked sharp in every way. Jake Allen looked sharp tonight.
Yeah, but they didn't get goalied. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Zuby, you want to wrap up the DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center poll? Where'd we land tonight, buddy?
I do, yeah. So the poll was just really a curiosity of mine with the game on Amazon Prime to see how people consumed tonight's game. So how did you watch tonight's game? The choices were through an Amazon Prime account, didn't watch, found another way to view it, or old school, listened to the radio. 61% of the people listened on a proper, or watched, I should say, on a proper Amazon Prime account. 17% didn't watch at all. I would imagine that's a pretty big number for the folks on our stream when the game is readily available. 15% found another more secret and possibly illicit way to watch. And old school, listen to the radio, 4%. So not bad.
Go.
That's a stepping in the way back.
Get used to it, folks. Get used to it. The whole streaming thing and hockey games on the streaming service, I do not believe that's going anywhere. And when the national rights are up in a couple of years, do not be surprised if Amazon has a bigger piece of the overall picture. So, yeah, if you want to be able to watch every game, you might just have to do it. But, Struds, there are some other good shows that come along with that subscription. Anything in particular that you're looking forward to that might be coming out soon on Amazon, Struds?
Yeah, I kind of did a sarcastic tweet about just how many ads there were for Yellowstone. I didn't even, to be fair, I didn't know Yellowstone was coming back, but then I saw about 50 ads on Prime, and now I get it is coming back. So I'm excited.
It is.
But there was a lot of ads. November 10th, apparently, just so you guys know.
It's a good show, man. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Another good show on Amazon, Lioness. Another good show into season 2 on Amazon. All right, let's wrap up the play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. From air polisher cleanings to advanced treatments, Gallery Dental offers a full range of services designed to keep your smile healthy. Their experienced team providing personalized care with the latest technology, making sure you get the best treatment possible. It's Gallery Dental, YEG.com is the website. Okay, Jason, what's our play of the day, buddy?
Well, hell of a football game between Tampa and Kansas City in the NFL Monday Nighter, and it goes overtime. There's a coin toss. Mahomes, the quarterback, and then obviously the quarterback, Baker Mayfield. Coin toss. Mahomes wins it, and Baker Mayfield, the quarterback of Tampa, just throws his head back. It's like, that's it. We're done. And sure enough, Hunt runs in a two-yard TD. Game over. Good night. See you next time.
A lot comes down to a coin toss, eh?
Yeah, it doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right, man. Whatever. I don't like it, but what are you going to do? The game's got to end, right? It's like the shootout. Not everyone likes a shootout. It's got to end.
It's got to end. And so, too, does our show. Good job tonight, Struds. Thanks, buddy. We'll chat with you after the Oilers and the Golden Knights on Wednesday, buddy.
Love it. Can't wait, guys.
Zuby, good job tonight, buddy. Nice recovery. Bumpy start. Nobody's fault. Equal blame all the way around. No start, but I thought we finished strong tonight, pal.
No equal blame. I'll take it. It was a C+ night for me, so I'll take my C+ and try to get it into the B's next for the next show.
Be better tomorrow morning, because Darren Dreger will not put up with a performance like this. Dregs will straight up shout you right off the stream, right off the pod.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks to all of you for joining us here on Got Your Back. Much appreciated on the live stream. Thanks for your downloads and your subscriptions. Hit the like button on the way out if you get a quick sec. And we will chat after the Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights on Wednesday. Big thanks to our title sponsor, Play Alberta. Oilers lose. Shutout tonight. They'll get another crack in a couple of days. We'll talk then.